What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It is the 5th day of June today. Here we are at about $102,000, just below there. We actually went below the level that I thought we would go to, right? The area, the line in the sand that we needed to hold was 101.7K, or at least thereabouts. You know, going a little bit below there is okay, but I don't know, man. The amount that we went below, it's a bit touchy. You know, we could go one of two directions now. And somebody asked if we'd go down to 95K, and I told them probably. I didn't say definitely, but probably, because this kind of an interaction below the 236 is pretty damn conducive to the idea that we would go down to the 382, which is at $95.8 thousand. Typically with the 382, you don't stop there. You actually go a little bit through it, and then you come up, right? With the 236, it's okay if you wick below it, but the amount of wick that we got, and the fact that not only that, the day just ended, right? It's the 6th of June, 22 hours, 26 minutes left. We just closed an hour and a half ago. The day closed below the 236. I mean, this in combination with the deep wick through it, I think at this point it might be inevitable that we do go down to the 382 or thereabouts, you guys. It really, really is. Perhaps this was, after all, if it'll load. I don't know what's happening right now. Whoa. We're frozen. I mean, this could have been a slanted head and shoulders pattern. It's very possible. Rather small right shoulder, but oftentimes you do get the small right shoulder, not the small left shoulder, you know what I mean? From a high to a low of the pattern, just to where the breakout would be. I mean, it's right below the 382 there, man. 94.5K. It's the head and shoulders pattern is actually lining up to make sense for what we would expect here, and it makes sense that it'd be slanted to the upside, and we've broken out of it. Now, it's pretty typical, not a financial advisor, but with head and shoulders patterns, you know, if the measure move is down here, if you want to avoid hitting the measure move, or maybe stopping a little bit higher, if instead of 94.5K, you want to find support at 95.8K, or even a little bit above there, what you'd look for is a pullback to the breakout point. If we pull back to 104,000, you know, today, tomorrow, whatever, if we do that, and then we go down again, I would expect that we don't hit our measure move. We'd probably fall just shy of it, which the 382 would make a lot of sense there. So something like that. It's very common to pull back to your breakout point, so just look for that. And if you pull back to the breakout of a head and shoulders pattern, it tends to hurt breakout performance. Does that make sense? That's all I'm trying to say there. So, but by way of the fibs, screw the head and shoulders, screw the pattern and all the performance stuff. Right now, it's basically inevitable that you will go to the $95.8 thousand level, right? Hold on. It's very possible that we don't go down there. There's still a chance that we don't go down there, but right now we're dealing with a very, very slim chance, my friends. In order for this chance to be kindled, to gain some kind of hope, we would need today to be a rather bullish day, right? And I'm not talking about a little bit bullish. I'm talking about, man, we need to come up. We need to be closing at least above $104,000 today, right? If we go up to 104K and then reject, well, that's exactly what I was saying. We're just back testing the prior trend line, back testing the breakout point for resistance, confirming it. We'll probably go lower to the 382. If we can close above 104K and stay above there, not just today, but tomorrow as well, and get above there, but today we would really need to make moves, show some kind of a reversal here, other than some kind of significant reversal on a daily time frame, which would mean we have 22 hours and 23 minutes left to make this move. There's really no absolving us going down to this area, right? The statistical probability of hitting this area right now is like a 90% chance right now, based off the fibs. But that can change. It can definitely change depending on how today reacts. But we need a robust reaction. The more robust, the better. If today can engulf yesterday's candle, hell, if we can engulf the wick too, if we're closing above 106K by the end of the day, this is no longer a concern down here, okay? That was the bottom. It was a deep low, but that was the bottom. It was deeper below the 236 than we like, but in all fairness, you know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes weird things do happen. If we're looking at this here from a high or a low to a high, you know, you did wick just below the 236 here, but just below is different than a sizable bit below like you did here. Here you didn't even touch the 236. Here you didn't even touch the 236. This dip is already more extreme than what we've seen since April 7th, right? So it's very possible that we're coming to an end of it. But looking at the daily RSI here, I would think we go lower, right? You look at the daily RSI, we have a low here connecting the dots here. We broke out of this ascending low trend. We're below the 40. We broke below our 236 with a pretty heavy candle with some decent volume to back it up. It's the end of the week now, right? The stock market looks like it's going down too, right? Like it makes sense, in my opinion, that we would probably see this go down to 95.8K. I'm having a hard time accepting it. There's the bullish C-Zar, the part of me that was expecting we'd hold 101.7K, 101K as support and then move up, that we'd be moving up probably starting next week. But there's that part of me that wants to still hold on to that. But there's the other part of me, the analytical side, which is emotionless and doesn't care about what my preconceived notions are. Looking at the raw data here, we have a very high probability of going down to 95.8K. But I'm giving you the means to reverse that, to nullify that. But it has to happen today. And the higher up we go, the better. If you don't close above 104K today, there's zero hope that we go anywhere up. Why can't I talk? Anywhere up above this all-time high until we interact with the 382. It's just how it is. And knowing Bitcoin, this kind of a drop, it wouldn't surprise me at all, man. If this happened over the next 3 days, 4 days, over the weekend, by the beginning of next week, sometime next week, we still might be moving up next week, but from a lower price, you know what I mean? These drops are pretty intense when they happen, and I think this is going to be an intense drop. It'll shake the markets out. We broke 100K. Oh no, Bitcoin's going to zero. We're just finding support at a classic, strong, healthy area to find support. Understand, you guys, if we see 95.8K or lower, thereabouts, that's a really bullish area to bounce. That's some really, really, really good structure. There's nothing bad about that at all. Nothing condemning about that at all. If we go lower, then we can talk. Okay, then we can talk about condemnation. But anyways, looking at the 1 hour time frame, let's zoom out from there, okay? 1 hour time frame, yeah, you got low in the RSI. You know, looking at moments like this is where people go short. You know, maybe they exited their longs, they got liquidated, whatever. They're looking to go short. The panic shorters shorted here. The people who think they're smart are probably shorting now. They're like, oh, it went up a little bit, now it's going to go down, right? And maybe it does, maybe it goes down, but I think we'll have a little bit more recourse to the upside than this. We'll probably move back up to prior support zones to find resistance, right? Something around 103K. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we went up around here, even above this line, before moving higher, or before moving lower. I'm sorry. Looking at the 1 hour RSI, definitely sucks. It's definitely bad. But you're in a position now where you could move up here and still look bad and still get a lower high in this kind of area. Or maybe you go up even higher and you still get a lower high. You know what I mean? So 1 hour probably does move up. We probably spend the first half of this day moving up if I had to guess, right? Depending on how fast it is. 4 hour time frame, yeah, you're in the oversold zone. You're probably going to get out of it and then get back into it, right? That's what we do. We're very near our low, you guys. We're very, very near our low from a time standpoint and a price standpoint. Yes, even a price standpoint, right? From here going down to 95K, 95.8K, which is where the 382 is, that's 6%. We're very near, very, very near. We just have a little bit to go left, right? Looking at the 4 hour time frame, we're very much in a downtrend. Lower lows in the RSI, lower highs in the RSI, right? We've got this whole shebang going on here. Typically, downtrends end in the oversold zone, which we're in right now. It's very possible that we get one more drive into it. Maybe we get some bullish divergence, something like that. Have a little bit of a green day today, maybe even tomorrow. Maybe the weekend's neutral to some degree. We let this RSI cool off for the bearish effect. And then starting next week, we'll have that last drive down. I was hoping next week would be a little bit of a bullish week. But I'm thinking next week might be the week that we find our low, and when will that low be? Where will that low be? I'm thinking 95.8K, man. Unless we see some circumstances today that change that, but we would really have to close, not just get above. You guys, if we go, if in 2 hours from now we're at 105K, that's not the same thing as what I was just talking about. We need to close up there. If you're up there in 2 hours, but then the rest of the day you come back down, we're in the same position we're in now, going down, we're going lower, you know what I mean? So don't just get excited at any pump. Get excited on the conviction, the close. We need the close. But really, I think Bitcoin just broke the seal and it's got lower prices to go. I really think this head and shoulders pattern is more obvious on the 4 hour time frame, right? Like you can see the left shoulder here. You can see the right shoulder here. The right shoulder is smaller, but typically that's actually pretty normal with the head and shoulder. It just looks perfect. Other than the volume profile, it actually looks pretty damn perfect. Here we were mocking it a week ago, but I thought it was a regular head and shoulders pattern that we were going to mock, not a slanted one. Not that really matters too much, but the slanted head and shoulders, I think we broke out of it. And if we just broke out of this pattern, we're probably not done. We're probably not done here. But I wouldn't be surprised if we pulled back, found resistance where we broke out from, you know, something like that, and then we continue to move lower. That's the expectation from here. So a little bit of life today, maybe even going into tomorrow over the weekend. It might be a neutral, boring, upside kind of a weekend. And then next week we'll begin moving down lower, guys. Understand, things have changed. If it's not clear, if it's not in your head, believe me, it's hard enough getting it through my head alone, let alone me getting through to you. But let me tell you, things have changed. the perspective we were looking for over the past week since this high, right? The perspective that we've, or I don't even know if it was since that high, maybe it was since this high over here or somewhere over here. The perspective that we've had has been that we would find support basically at the price that we had now. But if we went too much lower, if we broke below 101,000, which we did, we went all the way at 100,000.3. The perspective, if we did something like that, would be that we go to 95.8K. We've been thinking that we would bounce off at this price, we move down to this price and then move up, right? We thought that's what would happen, or move down to this price here and then kind of consolidate and then move up next week sometime. But that plans have changed now. What happened yesterday, what happened on the 5th, has effectively changed the course of action that we've assumed will happen next week, right? Bitcoin and probably a lot of cryptos have some lower prices to go. Okay, not everything. I would assume there's going to be some cryptos that move up. There always are. And not everything's going to move down so much. You know, if Bitcoin moves down 6%, the average altcoin is probably going to move down 12 to 20%. So just prepare for that, okay? But not every coin will. I don't know what else to say, guys. All that I can say here is that I'm not convinced that this move is done. I hope that by the time I make my next video in about 12 hours for Bitcoin, that things are different and that we are up above 104K. But even then, we have to wait till the day closes. So we got a whole 22 hours, 15 minutes. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'm pessimistic. I don't believe that we will get it, but I'm still hopeful that it's possible that we could get some kind of reversal here. But nothing shy of something kind of miraculous will do, okay? If we're not above 104K, at least, the higher the better. Even closing at 104K does not absolve us of going lower, but at least we have a fighting chance. If we close above 106K, there's no doubt in my mind this lower nonsense is off the table. We close above 106K today or tomorrow, we're probably going up. But it needs to happen now, okay? No urgency to the upside equals we'll see you down lower. That's all I'm saying. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. No matter what fib you're taking, man, from the low on April 7th up here with a robust move like this, it's very common to find support at the 382, 95.8K. Hindsight's 2020. Maybe we should have expected that more. And we did talk about it. I just didn't expect it. You know, I thought we would hold support at the 236. From a high to a low, if you break out and you get a false breakout like this, it's pretty damn common to pull back and find support at the 786, 886 area, at the golden ratio area, and then move up one of these two zones. It's very, very common. It's not really too common to go below there. And that golden ratio, just so you know, is at 94.1K, which is just below the 382 as well. So, yeah. A lot of sense to be made from this area. There is reasons to have hope here, but I'm pessimistic, man. Let's just leave it at that. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.